The U of A is changing their method to make all online coursework accessible for all students. More on their approach because UATV starts right now. Starting January 2nd, the state of Arkansas has now implemented a new blue and green envelope program. What this is a program designed to assist autistic and mentally disabled drivers during traffic stops. From rising home prices to increased demand, the effects of growth in Northwest Arkansas has affected different people in the community, especially first-time home buyers. Trying to obtain a house like this behind me has become more difficult and out of reach over the past couple of years. I'm standing here at the Washington County Courthouse where over the past week, primary elections have taken over Northwest Arkansas here at Washington County, but also up in Benton County. The journalism department is putting on the 95th annual J-Days. More on the preparation and history of the event because UATV starts right now. That's right, as the region is continuing to grow, many in the area are starting to feel the impact. But what is Northwest Arkansas doing in order to prepare for the rising population? Northwest Arkansas is one of the fastest growing regions in America. With major companies like Walmart, Tyson, and J.B. Hunt based in the area, the population has increased by more than 40% since 2010.
We are growing rapidly here.
And as that growth continues, experts say the focus is now how to keep up.
One thing to keep in mind is that growth is always a good thing. Like, we want the area to grow. That's a good sign. But that doesn't mean it's a costless thing. Like, there are adjustment costs. And so the question really isn't, do we want it to grow, but how do we want to adjust for growth?
As changes continue, housing is becoming one of the biggest areas of adjustment. From rising home prices to increased demand, the effects of growth in Northwest Arkansas has affected different people in the community, especially first-time home buyers. Trying to obtain a house like this behind me has become more difficult and out of reach over the past couple of years.
Really, I tell my first-time home buyers it's realistic estate because what your budget today gets you is not what it would have gotten you a few years ago.
With the average cost of a single-family home in the area being around $370,000, city leaders say they're working to address these challenges for home buyers. Part of that effort includes rethinking how housing is built across the region.
What we're trying to do is promote and advance incremental development where you could have more duplexes, more fourplexes, more single-family homes, but maybe not with a huge yard that's built out, 10 miles away from town.
Northwest Arkansas is projected to reach more than 1 million residents by 2050, and leaders say housing solutions will continue evolving as the region grows.
We just want to make sure that there are options for everyone. And the more we build, the more affordable things will be.
While housing is a main topic, infrastructure, pipelines, and roads are at the center of the topics within the growth of Northwest Arkansas as a whole. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Ellie Hagen. That's right, this past Sunday, local residents lined College Avenue in order to make a nationwide headline a local one right here in Fayetteville. International Women's Day drew residents to downtown Fayetteville in demand of transparency and accountability. Community members stood alongside local women's groups outside the Washington County Courthouse, calling for the release of the remaining Epstein file records.
It's really a gratifying feeling to be a part of all of these demonstrations supporting women and supporting victims of the Epstein files.
More than 3 million pages were released in late January under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed by President Trump in November. The records document investigations into a sex trafficking operation targeting women and underage girls.
Why haven't we done any protests for releasing the Epstein files and prosecuting them and turning files into trials?
Despite millions of pages being made public, some files remain unreleased, leaving questions about involvement. The gathering aimed to draw attention to this gap in public records.
We want to bring people's awareness to all this that's going on, so we're out here trying to make some noise.
Dozens of local residents turned out, highlighting their message to the people passing through.
It feels very good to know that we're not alone and that people recognize, you can see from all the honks that we're getting, people care.
The Department of Justice, who helped release the original files, say they are working to protect all the victims from the case. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Ellie Hagen. Thanks, Jax. I'm standing here at the Washington County Courthouse where over the past week, primary elections have taken over Northwest Arkansas here at Washington County, but also up in Benton County. So, what does the preparation look like in order to make all of these local elections so successful? While voters get 2 weeks to cast their ballot, election staff in Benton County spend months preparing behind the scenes.
Filing happened about the middle of November, and from there, it's just full speed ahead for us.
From building ballots and assigning the correct contest to each precinct to testing every piece of equipment, preparation takes time. Staff and volunteers spend 2 to 3 weeks physically testing 500 ballot marking devices to ensure everything works properly.
Our equipment is standalone equipment, which means we have to physically set up and touch every single one of them to put the election information on it and test it to make sure it's working as it should.
In past elections, Americans have seen issues such as ballot machine errors, incorrect configurations, and long delays at polling locations. But testing equipment well in advance gives election officials the confidence that the process will run smoothly.
We don't typically have a lot of problems during the voting time where they have equipment that just isn't working.
With midterm voting moved from May to March this year, election officials say they've seen lower turnout compared to previous years. Still, those involved say ensuring fair and accessible elections is what drives their work.
That's why I really love what I do, is because I want to make sure that our elections in Benton County are done really well, that they are available to all of our registered voters here in Benton County, and that it's done accurately and efficiently and accessible to all.
Now, Benton County has seen only 2% of their voters coming out so far, with about 4,500 people in total. But here at Washington County, they've seen a little bit more successful of numbers, with about 6,500 people voting in the early election this far. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Ellie Hagen. For nearly 100 years, J-Days has celebrated student success and connected them to industry professionals. But behind the scenes, weeks of preparation go into making this event happen. J-Days is a week-long celebration highlighting the accomplishments of journalism students at the University of Arkansas. But what started as a small gathering has grown into a long-standing campus tradition.
So J-Day was started in 1931 by Walter Lemke, who is the founder of the journalism school. So not long after founding the journalism school, he said, let's have a celebration. It was just one day, and it was a small group of students.
Nearly a century later, the event has expanded alongside the growth of the journalism school, now reaching students across multiple areas of media.
I think if you talk to alumni from over the decades, they have fond memories of J-Days and how it was a time where they got to meet some students they didn't know.
Today, it's students behind the scenes making this week possible. The event planning class spends the semester organizing J-Days, working together under the direction of Professor Dorinda Sharp.
Preparing for J-Days is like something we've been doing since first day of class. You know, it was something we talked about, something we look forward to.
Students in the class take on different roles throughout the semester, working to bring each piece of the event together.
We've discussed roles, we've talked about like who's going to be doing what it's going to look like, how we're going to go about things.
With a week of activities, journalism students have the opportunity to network, showcase their work, and hear from guest lecturers and professors. As the week wraps up, students say the impact of J-Days goes beyond the events themselves.
J-Days are something that can get you connected with so many people, and I think it's great for all students and just people around campus to come check it out.
Now serving over 900 students in the journalism department alone, J-Days is continuing throughout the rest of the week with different events catering towards all kinds of students. Reporting live inside Kimball Hall for UATV News, I'm Ellie Hagen. Thanks, Sophia. Blackboard is the online learning program here at the U of A. And for students with disabilities, whether you're visually or hearing impaired or have a learning disability, need Blackboard to be accessible to get their coursework done. According to Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act, I'll take appropriate steps to ensure that communications with applicants, participants, members of the public, and companions with disabilities are as effective as communications with others. In the past, professors have worked with the CEA as well as students to make their work accessible, but only after they are asked to do. A new approach is now being taken to change this.
The push from the federal government is more proactive than reactive these days. So instead of waiting for those requests and then fixing as we, in response to them, we're also just getting into all of the content and trying to make it accessible from the jump.
Whether it's captioned videos, accessible documents, or alternative forms of digital media, professors are working hand in hand with technical directors in order to make their work accessible before it's even asked of them. They hope this bridges the gaps between professors and students and helps raise the level of accommodations across the board here at the University of Arkansas. Reporting live for UATV News, I'm Ellie Hagen.